Good evening, everyone. It's day 52 of doing a cold plunge every single day. The water is currently 40 degrees, and today's actually a really special day because it marks the 2-year mark of being alcohol free. With that being said, let's hop in. If you haven't guessed by now, the audio in my original video did not work, so I am doing a voiceover. Basically, I made this video because I wanted to reach out to anyone else that was out there that is struggling with addiction, struggling to become sober. I know it's not a difficult thing to do personally because I've been through it. I know all the mind games you play with yourself and all the ins and outs that makes it very tricky to stop. Um, for me, I think obviously I can only speak from my experience, but for me, I think it has to do with, you know, being a certain way for so long, spending so many years of building a bad habit. For me, it was drinking heavily on the weekends, and it got to a point where I just felt like it was interfering with my life. I wasn't happy with the person that I was when I was drunk. Um, but when you spend years and years and years of building a bad habit, you just don't get rid of those habits in a single day. It's a process. And I know we wish it wasn't a process. We could just do it quick, cold turkey, and then be done with it. But that is not how it works. Like, it is a battle within yourself that you have to go through in order to become this newer version of yourself that you're going after. Um, but yeah, if you're spending years and years of building a bad habit, like, it's gonna take some time in order for you to break those bad habits and develop some new ones. Um, so I think for me, that's what a lot of it was. Like, I was so comfortable and used to being drunk on the weekends that when I wasn't drunk on the weekends, like, it would feel so weird. Like, man, it's Friday. It was like my body knew, like, oh, this is usually time that you drink. Like, why are you not drinking right now? What's your problem? What's going on? And some days I would win and not drink, and other days I would drink, and it was like a constant battle of going back and forth. Like, even though I wanted to stop drinking, it was very hard for me to do. It felt almost like I would take two steps forward, take a step back, maybe take one step forward, two steps back, and it was just back and forth, back and forth. But I think that is a part of it, that you are so comfortable being a certain way that when you try to change, it feels so uncomfortable that you're likely to fall back into your old habits and your old way of being. Because even though it's not healthy for you and they may not be serving you anymore, that you are comfortable being that way. And that's what you're used to. It feels good because that's what you know. There's no fear, or there's a certain amount of fear going into the unknown, that you would almost rather suffer with an old lifestyle, even though you know it's no longer serving you, but you're used to it. It's comfortable, you know it, so it's easy to stay there. But for me, I just knew it wasn't what I wanted anymore, and I just kept fighting for it. Even if I slipped up here and there, um, I would go. I would eventually get to the point again where I wanted to stop again. And it was like, and it it was such a battle. It was such a process, dude. It probably took years and years. Like, I'd be sober for 6 months and then just start drinking again for a year, year and a half, whatever it was. But it's one of those battles that you have to keep getting back on the horse. Like, even if you fall off, like, get back on, because eventually you're gonna keep making progress, and eventually, if you don't quit, you could get to the sober life. But if you quit before that point, obviously you can never change, because you're gonna give up. You're just gonna accept this is the way you are, and I can't change, and why am I even trying anymore? But that is not true. And I'm speaking from experience. Like, you can change, you just have to stick it out and want it bad enough. Like, nobody can want it for you. Nobody could do the work for you. It's something only you can do, and that's another reason why what makes it so hard is because it's just you versus you. There's going to be nobody, not necessarily, but it's like I even knew if you were to try to tell me 6 months before I stopped drinking, like, bro, you got a problem, you need to stop. I would have been like screw off. Like, who are you telling me what to do? You don't know me. So that's kind of how I know too. It's like you cannot force somebody to change if they don't want to. It's like think about how hard it is to change yourself, and you'll realize what little chance you have at changing somebody else. Like you gotta want it for yourself, and you gotta want it bad because it's going to be hard, but it is possible. And I just wanted to say, if anyone out there is struggling, like you can do this, you got this, but you gotta want it, and you gotta realize it's gonna be a battle, and it's okay if you slip up. It's okay if you don't do it 100% on your first try. It's gonna be a process, but you can do it. You just have to take small steps, 1% better every day. And, you know, if you feel like you want to reach out to me, talk to me about it. Like I went through the mental struggle, the battle. I'm not saying I'm a psychologist or an expert, but I'm down to talk to you, give you my own perspectives, and hopefully it could help some of you. With that being said, hope you all have a good night and talk to you later.